Omar, question. In your book, it says that if you sell your lease to another dealer, you have to buy the car first. That means I have to write my current bank check. Nope. That's actually our plan A. That's not our plan A for selling our lease. If you have what most people do who are trying to get their lease equity, if you don't know you could sell a lease, if you didn't know you could sell a lease type of one, this is going to be relevant to you. We've sold leases for the last couple of years. You've always been able to sell them, but the last couple of years, it's been, there's a lot of money made. And when banks saw people making a lot of money selling their leases, $5, $7, $10,000, some of them implemented a third-party restriction, and that they limited who you can sell to. So they started letting. So then what you saw was a lot of people started buying their leases and reselling them. I don't like when you buy your lease and resell it, because you're going to pay taxes on the purchase and you're going to pay fees on the purchase, and then that's coming out of your profit. So I don't teach that. In the book, Omar, continue reading or just read that section over. It's a lot of money involved in that section. When we have a third-party restriction, we're getting bids from a local dealer. We're talking to used car dealers. I have a script in there of what to say. We're selling our car to a local used car dealer. And if there's more money to be made buying and reselling, then you can do that. But oftentimes, because dealers most times don't need to pay the taxes, the dealer payoff is lower usually than the customer payoff, which means you can sell direct to a dealer and put more money in your pocket, but you must get bids. And that's what I teach. So just read that section carefully, Omar. All right, come on in. Could everybody hit the share button who is into sharing? If you're into sharing, if you share great information, if you're into financial literacy, if you believe that people should be able to, have the information to make the best decisions for themselves, then hit that share button. I appreciate all the sharers. I cannot do this. We can't do this mission without the sharers. Thank y'all. All right, let's go. I see Instagram. Let's go. Want to trade my car, which I still owe money on, and I want to lease now. That's going to be very common. Many of you are going to find out as you find out you will, unfortunately, many of you were just programmed never to lease. You were programmed that leasing was bad. And when you find out the math and how much that's cost you, the first thing you're going to want to do is get out of your finance and go into a lease. So you need to call your bank. In my book, I call this the equity assessment. This is step 2. After you decide, now you've already done step 1, which is great. Step 1 is deciding, should I buy or lease? Asking yourself the most important question: how many years am I keeping this car? To decide, are we going to go for our long-term purchase where we can avoid the depreciation in the long term, or are we going to go for a short-term lease to avoid the depreciation hit? Once you answer that question, that's step 1. Now we move on to step 2, which is our equity assessment. That's when we have to look at the current car we have, and we have to find out what our position is in it. Are we in a negative position? Are we in a positive equity position? So you're going to call your bank, find out what your payoff is, get your payoff. Don't look at your residual value on your contract. Don't look at, whatever your statement is. If you're going, you can do this with a finance, you can do this with a lease. The equity assessment process starts the same way. You call, you get a payoff, you find out what you owe, and then you're going to go to the online bidding, to the online car buyers, and you're going to get offers so that you can find out relative to what you owe, how much is the market value of your vehicle. And the market value is based on how much someone's willing to pay you for the car. It's not based on what an algorithm site says. It's based on, I got 6, 7, 8 cash offers, which is when you follow this process, that's what you're going to get. And you take the highest one, and then you look at what you owe. And if the highest offer is greater than your payoff, that's called equity. If the highest offer is lower than your payoff, that's negative equity. In which case you have to go with a different plan with negative equity. And some of you are going to have negative equity. You're still going to want to transfer that to a lease. But you need to know how much negative equity you have. So you must complete the equity assessment first, then we move on. Pete, how much normally is a good amount to put down? So when we look at putting money down, it's all payment management. If I'm financing a car and my goal is to pay off the car as quick as possible because I'm keeping it for, 8, 10, 12, 15 years, then I'm going to put as much money as I can down. But it goes back to what we talked about in the last segment. If y'all were here in the last segment, you remember we talked about what you're doing with your money. So let's say a person is using them, you got your money invested, you're getting returns on your money, 8, 10, 12%. Then if you have a low interest rate, you might want to ride that out. So there's 3 ways to go. You're either going to say, all right, I'm not really interested in getting investing my money. I'm not getting a lot on my money. Most of my money is either in the bank or in savings, and that's what I do. In which case, you might say, I want to pay off this car as quick as possible, and then I want to just have no car payment. So I'll put more money down in that scenario. In a second scenario, you're investing your money and you say, okay, I'm going to leverage, I'm going to use the bank's money at a very low interest rate if it's available, 2, 3%, 0%, 0.99%. I'm going to use this money, let my money make more money for me, and then I'm going to put as little as possible down. And then the third case is when you say, okay, well, the third case is probably going to cash or a lease scenario, but that's how you would compare it. It depends on your personal choices, what you're doing with your money, and if you're not into investing and making a lot of money on your money, then you probably want to get that car paid off as quick as possible. In which case, put as much as you could afford to put down so that the loan's out of the way as soon as possible. But it's all personal. All right. I see from IG. Is it a way to get a lease without a down payment? Look, are you kidding me? And that's not an insult to your question. That's just, this is all we do. I know you might have looked at these questions and you said, you might have looked at these lease deals online and you see all of these deals that say, hey, put 3,000 down or the $32.99 do it lease signing. Listen, the lease is custom. You choose the mileage. You choose the structure. So the way we shop, this is all in my book and this is all in my free videos. So as you go through all my free videos, y'all gonna hear all of these things match. Whether you on these lives with me, whether you watching my videos, could we keep hitting the likes on TikTok? Let's shoot the likes up even more. Appreciate y'all. Whether you're looking at the free videos, whether you're on a live or whether you're in the book, you're gonna see they're all the same. So when the way we shop for a lease is we are picking our car and we're going to get our offers with only first month payment out of pocket, 12,000 miles per year. If anyone tells you they can't do that, they're lying to you. Straight up, they are lying to you. And that's why we never put our faith in one dealer. In my book, I have something called the 25-to-5 strategy, where we're connecting with 25 local dealers online in 20 minutes. I know it sounds crazy, but when you got a computer and you know where to go and what to say, and you're using copy and paste messages, you're just letting them know. I'm gonna let 25 dealers know in 20 minutes what I'm looking for, because out of that 25 dealers, maybe 10, 12 are gonna have a car that I'm interested in, depending on the car, maybe 10, 12. And then out of that, I'm looking to get 5 to 7 offers. So it's 25-to-5, 25 connections, 5 offers. And until you start doing this, until you start looking at 5 offers, y'all, you're not going to see how overpriced some dealers are. When you start looking at 5 offers, you're going to see how overpriced some dealers are. And because about 80% from what we see, and I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people around the country, over 1,600 people now in my private group, there is 80% of dealers are going to take a shot at you to the tune of thousands and thousands, but 20% of dealers are going to be the best. They're going to be honest. They're going to make shopping from home easy. They're going to try to beat their competition. And that's the people that we end up purchasing from or leasing from. Is it better to lease or buy when using for a business? It depends on the type of business. The only business that I say it's not better to lease. See, leasing is for people who are not keeping their cars 8 years. Very simple. It's called the 8-year rule. And when you see that what it's about is avoiding the depreciation hit. When you're buying a car, your biggest expense by far is depreciation. If you buy a car today for $30,000, brand new car, what's that car worth in 5 years, y'all? Throw some numbers out there. If you buy a car today, $30,000, brand new car, what's that car going to be worth in 5 years? Throw some numbers out there. Thanks, Ed. I see you, man. Appreciate you. Look, let's see what people come in at. Hold on, hold the question, Dolan. Now I got my man Dolan working in the background so we can see everybody's question. But hold on, let's go deep on this. It's not going to be worth 17. If you could buy a car for 30,000 and then it's worth 17 in 5 years, that's not going to happen. So let's just and 22. See. All right, this is a deeper problem. Let me hit on this, y'all. Let me hit on this. This is a big problem. All right. Some of you let the last 3 years fool you. And this happened to car dealers too. There are still car dealers out there that think this is pandemic, and they're trying their best to hold on to what was. I used to, during the pandemic, some car salesman said, man, somebody will walk in, I tell them they got to pay $8,000 over sticker, and I got it. I could get them to pay that. They're still trying to hold on to that. They don't realize that over a year ago, their competition started adjusting and started really doing, well, their competition was doing deals from the get-go. So that's them. But let me talk to you. If you bought a car in 2018, 17, 16, 19, 20, early 2020, you could have sold that car and actually either made money. In fact, most people made money. That's gone. Don't let that get you thinking that there is that you can buy a car and flip a car or break even on a car. That was a once in a lifetime opportunity based on limited inventory, based on a global pandemic, based on a microchip shortage, based on an industry that usually puts 60 million cars a year through the transaction. They didn't have it, and so everything went up $7,000 to $15,000. Everything. Some of you cashed out. If you cashed out during that time, those last 3 years, 2020, 2021, 2022, if you cashed out, you sold something and you made a bunch of money, type a $sign. Just type $sign so we can actually see. Because some of you, I was talking to you back then and you cashed out through my advice, and some of you, you just found out on your own, or you found out through somewhere else, and you ended up cashing out and making a bunch of money. If that's you, put $signs. But that is over. The times we had people buying cars in 2019, overpaying for them, or buying cars and coming back and flipping them and making money on them. You try that now, you're going to lose your shirt. It's over. So I'm here to tell you that the normal depreciation on a car is a 20% loss the first year. 20% loss the first year. So if you pay 30 grand for a car, that car is worth 80% of 30 grand after a year with normal driving. If you're a high mileage driver, it's worth even less than that. If you're a low mileage driver, very low, it's worth a little more than that. But that's standard, 20% going. Second year, you're going to lose probably another 15%. Third year, you're probably going to lose about 12.5%. Probably lose another 12.5% the next year. Then you'll lose 10%. And that's the depreciation curve. That's where we are. So when I asked y'all 3-4 minutes ago, if we bought a $30,000 car, what it would be worth today, the answer is what it would be worth after 5 years. The answer is probably going to be about 12 grand. The answer is probably going to be about 12 grand. And we've gotten so far, I had to go deep on that subject, so I kind of forgot what the original question was and how we got on it. But the name of the game is avoiding depreciation. That was how we got on it. So if you don't know, that's your biggest expense. Your biggest expense is not maintenance. It's depreciation. You're losing thousands and thousands of dollars in depreciation. So when you're deciding, should I lease or purchase? When I tell you the answer is 8 years, if you're not keeping your next car 8 years, you should be leasing it, because if you get a great lease deal, you can't get a regular lease deal. You must get a great lease deal that comes through multiple offers. Then you're going to avoid those big depreciation losses that these owners are taking. Now, at the same time, if you're buying your car to keep 8 years, you should be purchasing it, because once that depreciation levels out, remember what I said, you lose this percent the first year, this percent the second year, but every year later, it starts to get smaller and smaller. Eventually, you're only losing like 5% on the car, and that's the time where you want to keep it. That's when you won. That's the reward. That's where you're like, okay, now I'm winning based on my purchase. Okay, so whenever you're looking at leasing versus purchase, it's a long term. You got to look down the road, and you must ask yourself, how long am I going to keep this car? All right, let's go. Dolan, next question. Dolan pulling questions in from every platform. Should lease rates increase depending on yearly mileage allotment? So we always shop with 12,000 miles per year. Find your best deal. Shop multiple offers. The way I just laid out in the beginning of the show, I gave you the structure on how we shop offers. If you missed it, watch the replay. Once you get multiple offers, you get 5 to 7 offers. Pick your best one, and then you adjust the mileage. Because you want to adjust your mileage once you know you're dealing with an honest dealer. Once you know a dealer has won the bid, they're not going to try to put extra, like if the mileage to go from 12,000 to 15 is $25 a month more. An honest dealer will mark it up $25. You don't have an honest dealer, they'll mark it up $35. They'll mark it up $32. Everything will have a little cushion in there and you don't want that, because cushion is built-in profit that they're not going to disclose. So once you do that, yeah, you pay for additional mileage, but you don't adjust your mileage until you actually find your deal. And yeah, you pay for mileage because you pay for usage. But then again, when you have a great lease, like I'm gonna show y'all a couple great leases throughout the show, people who are getting, ridiculous deals right now, and y'all see, to add a little more mileage to these leases the payment is still pennies. It's ridiculous. Go ahead, Dolan. But you got to shop first and then you adjust. All right, YouTube, looking to buy 4Runner, but they have a $1,500 BS protection package. Okay, they is one dealer. It's not Toyota. Toyota's 4Runner. This gentleman shopping for a Toyota 4Runner, y'all. The dealer that you went to has a $1,500 BS fee. That's why we don't shop and put our faith in one dealer. You know how many 4Runners there are the way you saw them? I don't care what car you're looking at. You could be looking at the most rare G-Wagon. There's at least a couple more in the country. So when it comes to something like a 4Runner, there's thousands of them. No matter what color, you might say, yeah, but I like this color. There's thousands of them, thousands. That's a mass-produced vehicle. So you have to have that in your mind. If you start looking at it like, oh, it's only one of these, oh, they got you, because they're going to make you think that's the only one, and you're not going to see that there's other ones that not only may they not have the BS fees, they actually may be lower priced. And that's what you need to be seeing. We go about 100 miles out when we start our used car sales. In my book, in day 5, I have something called the multiple marketplace strategy. I laid out the 25-to-5 strategy. That's how you shop for new cars and leases. That's a different strategy. When we're shopping for pre-owned cars, we're using the multiple marketplace strategy. Can y'all keep shooting? Can y'all keep tapping the screen? Everybody on TikTok, we got a couple hundred people. This is crazy. Could y'all just keep tapping the screen, shoot the likes up? Let's keep grabbing attention over here on TikTok. Appreciate all of y'all. But when you're shopping for a pre-owned car, we're using the multiple marketplace strategy, where we're looking at every website that has used cars. Some of you may think Car Gurus is the same as cars.com, the same as Auto Trader. They're not. These companies have different contracts, different dealerships, different places that they advertise inventory for. And not only are you shopping those marketplaces, you're shopping the Carvanas, you're shopping the CarMaxes, because occasionally, sometimes they'll have the best price on a particular vehicle. You never know what they're going to do. So if you're not shopping them and looking at all the used car inventory, you are going to miss the lowest price in the market. But once that happens, you'll find a car, and you always verify fees before you leave your house. You never get to a dealership and have fees pop up on you that you didn't know about. That means you didn't give a call and find out the bogus fees beforehand, in which case you let somebody waste your time. So you can't negotiate. That's why I got a video. Some of you may have seen it. We don't negotiate with fake fees. We don't do it. We don't do it. It's a losing battle. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Let's keep it rolling. I'm trying to get through as many as we can today. I want to go through as many questions as fast as possible. How do I know how much equity I have on my lease? It's a very common question, y'all. I mean, we're kind of getting a similar question asked in a different way. Call your bank, find out what you owe, what your payoff is. Go to the marketplaces that I mentioned earlier to get offers. CarMax, Vroom, Vroom's out of business, sorry. CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, and Car Gurus, Sell My Car. That'll get you about 6 offers. Now, whenever you're using those websites, you'll get to a part where it says, is the vehicle owned, leased, or financed? Just put owned, because their websites have something built in where they say they can't buy leases, because they out of all the leasing companies, some have third-party restrictions and some don't. But their websites are not set up to see who has third-party restrictions. They just kind of blocked it, because I'm sure they had thousands and thousands of people, when everybody was making all of this money, calling them saying, "Oh, I want to sell my car to you." And then they looked at the contract and said, "Oh, we can't buy it." So they basically just put a block on their website. But if you don't have a third-party restriction, and there are several leasing companies still that don't have a third-party restriction, meaning you can sell to anyone, but if you do have a third-party restriction, we take those offers that we got from those online car buyers, then we call a local car dealership, we call a local brand, and we speak to the used car manager, and we get a couple offers from used car managers, and we sell direct to them. And we avoid any fees. We don't buy and resell. I can't think of one person, you can leave that up, Dolan, I'll get right to it. You can leave that up. I can't think of one person that has learned from me that actually bought their lease and resold it. It's just, you're losing thousands of dollars in taxes and fees. It's just not worth doing when you can sell direct to a dealer. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Let's keep it rolling. I'm loving this. Thank you. Could everybody tag a friend? Everybody's not going to tag a friend, but if you are somebody who tagged, I'm telling you, your friends will be upset if they find out that they went and bought a car a couple months down the road and they end up overpaying for it, which most people are, and they find me later and you didn't share it, and they like, yo, why didn't you share that guy? Yeah, I've been following Deshone for years. You didn't share his stuff with me. So don't be that. You don't want to have that. It's an awkward conversation. You might as well just tag a friend, think about somebody who you love, and share this wisdom with them. Let's get everybody saving money. All right, we can't find a lease for less than $500 a month. Every time we turn a car in, they increase the lease amount. We love Jeep, but we are now trying to, but they're calling us, telling us the interest rate is high. We have 12,000 miles left. So, I mean, if you can't get a Jeep, so this was somebody that got a Jeep in our private group. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go to my let's see, who got a Jeep? I gotta label these different. No, I gotta label these different. Ooh. Jeeps have incredible deals if you know how to shop. Anybody who's interested in leasing a Jeep Grand Cherokee, which kind of Jeep is it, Liz? If it's a Jeep Grand Cherokee, let me see if I can find this. See if I can find this person, because I know that deal was ridiculous. Hold on. I just want to tell you how the difference in shopping and getting multiple offers, because if you already have them calling you and telling you that every time you see, I know that scenario where she just said every time we release from them, the price goes up. That means she's buying and leasing from the same dealer. So in most cases, when you're leasing from the same dealer, every single time you get a deal from them, they're going to bump the payment up a little bit. Very rarely is it going to go down, because they've conditioned you for it to go up a little bit every single time. Now, in the case of the pandemic, they had people jumping up $150 a month. But when it comes to Jeep, hold on. What kind of Jeep? Is it a Grand Cherokee or a Wrangler? I know I have somebody in my group that just got a Jeep for it. They saved like $7,000. And that was on a limited. That was on like a $59,000 Jeep. Oh, that's right. I text my friend the deal because she was shopping for a Jeep, and I text her the deal. So let me actually see. Here we go. All right, here we go. That's right. Okay. She got a $45,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee. If y'all can't see this, this is Raphael. She got a $45,000. Now, I don't know how you're equipping your Jeep, but hers is $45,925. She's paying $549 a month, and that's all the money she gave them. She put $540, she gave them $549, and she drove off. So if you are somebody who says, all right, that deal is ridiculous, I'm gonna put down $1,500 more, drop my payment to like probably about $1,500 more out of pocket, will drop that payment to probably $498. And or you might say, Deshone, I don't even need the limited. I see she got the blacked out one. I don't need all of that. I'll take one that's a little less than that. But this was last month. So, I mean, you must shop offers on these cars. You must shop multiple offers. You must get at least 5 quotes from 5 unrelated dealers, because one thing that will surprise you is Raphael had offers for $600, $700. I remember I helped the lady Christina. She was in our group a year ago, and her best offer, she got like a $52,000 Jeep, white with the black top. and it was like $606 a month. But her highest offer she got from a dealer was like $1,100. So she had some for $1,100. She had some for like $899 or something, and then her best one was $606. So oftentimes, what you think is overpriced is just that one dealer you're dealing with that's trying to take a shot at you. That's why multiple offers from home is the way to go. This is what's in my book. This is what I teach in my videos. If you guys want to have it right in one spot with all my scripts, everything, I don't even want you talking. I really want you typing, because when you talk, you can say something wrong. If you type, you can't mess up. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. If you type, you can't mess up. So 75% off. I just put the book out. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. If you hate car shopping, type hate. Type I hate it. All right. And we're already rated 5 stars on Goodreads. And I want y'all to have everything I teach in one spot. That way you don't have to go through all my videos trying to see which one's for me and which one's for leasing and which one's for selling my lease. And oh, this one's for a used car. I don't need that. That's you can do that. You can certainly do that. The information's there. But if you want it all in one spot, get your book for 75% off in my TikTok bio, or go to my Instagram bio, click that link, and then click the button that says 75% off, or go to deshonsbook.com. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Yep, you good, Dolan. I want to buy a certified pre-owned car. I want a safe, reliable car. What do you recommend? I'm thinking Subaru. Okay, so when we're trying to find what car we want, get an idea of it, and then we do a research. We do our check. We check to see reliability. There's 3 terms that you got to be familiar with. 2 are going to apply to you if you're a short-term person, which means you're leasing, you're not keeping your cars 8 years, and 2 are going to be important to you if you're a purchaser, if you're buying a car to keep 8, 9, 10 years. If you're leasing, the 2 important terms are initial quality. Initial quality is, what does the data say about this car its first 90 days? The first 90 days the car was in production. Now, the way we do an initial quality check, this we do right before we go and get offers on a car, because we never get offers on a car until we find out if it's a good car. You don't want to be getting offers and then you get a great deal. Now you decide to check to see if it's a good car and you're like, oh, it has electrical problem. No. So this is one of the last steps we do. We do this in step 4 of my process. It's a 7-step process. Step 4 is shopping, not buying. That's our research. That's our test drives. That's our making sure the car is good. So you type in the name of the car, the year, always put the year, 2024 Subaru Impreza, initial quality. Type that into Google and you look at the first page. If there's any red flags, you'll see it. Skim those first couple articles. It shouldn't take you more than 3 minutes. You'll see, oh, click on this. Reliability score is a 70 out of 100. I might pass on that. Initial quality, rather, is a 7 out of 100. We don't want to see anything that gives us concern. Now, once it passes initial quality, now you type in 2024 Subaru Impreza reliability. So initial quality is your first 3 months of the vehicle's lifespan from the time it's new. Reliability is the first 3 years. So if that car is in the shop every couple months or once a year, or for the same issue, if it's having a misfire in the engine, you'll see it in the reliability ratings. For somebody like you, Tina, you want to look at both the reliability, and then you want to type in 2024, whatever year you're buying, 2021 Subaru Impreza longevity, and you want to do the same thing. You'll see if the transmission's known to go, it'll tell you right up top. These cars are known to last 150 to 200,000 miles, 200,000 to 300,000 miles. These cars, many owners report transmission issues around 80,000 miles. That quick 5-minute check will avoid thousands and thousands of dollars in bills and headaches. Thank you, Blood. Said you looking younger. I appreciate it. So that's how you do. But also, don't think you got to buy it. You can keep that up, Dolan. All right, we're pulling questions from everywhere. Instagram, TikTok. So make sure y'all are typing your questions. We're on 4 platforms. And I got my man Dolan pulling the questions in. Don't think that a certified pre-owned car is better than a non-certified car with a good history. A good history, non-certified, could be better than a car that's certified without the history. See, I'd rather a non-certified car with a great title, which means it's not a salvage title, it's not a rental, it's not a, funny title. Great service records, which means I can see that the previous owner or owners regularly took care of the car. That's the biggest indicator that car was taken care of, is service records. And then a good accident report. I take that over a certified car. When I pull the Carfax, I don't see many service records. So don't think because you're getting a certified car, if you don't do your due diligence, you could still lose. You want to look for those three things: title, service records, accident history. That's the biggest indicators. It's no guarantees, but those are the indicators. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Can you explain the worksheet on the multiple marketplace strategy? I signed up for the 5 sites, but confused when there are multiple cars on each site. If I pick high and low on each site, the sheet will have like 50 cars. Correct. I'm looking to actually narrow down. First thing we do. So this is somebody who obviously has my book, and she's asking about this strategy. So look, when we're looking at used cars, we're on every marketplace. So I want you to think about like Amazon.com, Walmart.com. Let's replace the car with a TV. It's no way, if you're looking for a TV and you're trying to get your best deal and pay the lowest price, you're not going to check all the online websites. Now, some people might check only Amazon. Though that's not as good as checking Amazon and checking Walmart.com and checking BestBuy.com. See, I know Best Buy is overpriced most of the time. You get what I'm saying? But that's how I feel about CarMax. But I still got to check them because they're overpriced most of the time, not all the time. And every now and then you see the one that was surprising, they'll have the best offer right there. So that's why I'm always going to check all the marketplaces: CarMax, Driveway, and then we're going to open up your Auto Trader, Cars.com, Car Gurus, at Carfax.com. There's 8 used car marketplaces. So we open them up, and now we put in our criteria. What are we looking for? Now, we don't look to buy. I don't want you buying the first day when you open those marketplaces. Here's the goal when we open the marketplaces. Who remembers what I said about market value? If you were on the last broadcast, or if you heard me talk about it, what are we interested in when it comes to market value? Who remembers? And let me see, we might have a whole fresh crowd on here. We got a couple hundred people. We got like 400 people on here between all the platforms. So I don't want to assume, but let's see if anybody has heard from any of my other broadcasts. When it comes to market value, what are we interested in? All right, we might have a whole fresh crowd. Below market value, y'all. So how do we buy below market value? First thing we need to do is see what is market value. Yep, I see you, Ronald. The first thing we need to do is see what is market value. So your goal when you open up those marketplaces, and this is what I teach you in my book. First things first, we sort all our prices high to low. We create accounts because we want to be alerted of any new inventory. Because once I know what the market value is, I know where the low side of the market is. So you might look and say, we sort all the prices, low to high, low to high, low to high. Now I can see all the low prices are around 22, 23, 20, 22, 23, 24s, but then it goes up to 25, 26, 27. That's market value, that middle. And then you got the overmarket, it's always going to be cars that are priced higher, above market value. Now, when we look at the low side, here's what we're able to say. Here's what you have to know. Be prepared for it. The low side of the market is where all the crap is. So you're going to see bad titles. You're going to see accidents. You're going to see frame damage. That's fine, because you're looking through all of that And then you're going to find that diamond, and you know what the low side of the market is. Here's what's also very important. You might see a car, you might say, I want a black car or a white or silver. You see a car that has all the boxes I talked about, which we checked: title great, service records great, accidents great. It's the wrong color though. Dang, I don't want blue. That's an indicator. I don't care if it's blue. I'm not going to buy it because it's not my color, but it's showing me where the low side of the market is. That's a deal. If somebody wanted a navy blue car, that's a daggone below market deal. So we have to find out what the market is. Then we find out where the low side of the market is. And then we have on alert so that every car that pops up, it comes to our email immediately. As soon as they list it, boom, we get the email and we know the low side of the market. So when we look at that car and we're like, oh, wait, this is $22,000 and it's my color. All right, you open it. Ah, shoot, 2 accidents. No problem. Now you get another one a couple days later. Oh, shoot. All right, black. Oh, 22.5. Good price. You open that thing. Wait, service records look great. Oh, accidents look great. Now we go to verify if there are any bogus fees. We do one more step. We pull the window sticker because I want to know what's in that car. I want to know what the original equipment what is the actual original price. Once I find that out, I got to get there and get that car. So that's how you do it. You have to. It's a narrowing down. You're looking at all this inventory. I'm going to narrow it down to the best, and then I'm going to snag my deal. And you're at home. You're not in these dealers where you're at home. Okay, and that's all in the book. All right, let's go. Oh, how do I get your book? It's in my TikTok bio. Welcome to all the new people that jumped on the broadcast. It's in my TikTok bio. It's in my Instagram bio. Click the picture of me, and then you'll see a website there. And then there, click the button. You won't leave the broadcast. So some people are like, Deshone, I don't want to get the book yet. I don't want to miss the broadcast. Well, the book is only on sale, 75% off for 30 minutes. So click the link. You won't leave. You'll still be able to hear everything we're talking about. You can come back and keep asking questions, but don't miss the 75% off. Click that website, or if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can go to deshonesbook.com, or you can scan the QR code if you're watching on TV. Go ahead, Dolan. Oh, matter of fact, let me go to TikTok because Dolan, you're not on TikTok. Can you come with me to buy a car? Not necessary, Danielle. Thank you. I appreciate it, though. Listen, that's the old way. So you think that we're somehow going back and forth with dealers and hey, I kind of need somebody. That's like when I was selling cars and people thought bringing their uncle in was going to help them. No, we don't shop like that. So you don't need any. The reason why, listen, I'm gonna share the reason why you see people like this. Well, I just showed you Raphael. How she get that deal? She's from home. See, you put yourself in a vulnerable position where you go in. Some of you, I mean, be honest. If you ever felt like, you were being taken advantage of, or you were getting talked down to at a dealership, type of one. If you feel like, I'm outmatched, or if you're not a good negotiator, how about that? Who on here is not a good negotiator? Type of one in the chat. All of these things I want you to know. That's why the old way has worked for dealers. I was there for 14 years. It's all about psychology and negotiation and confrontation and being comfortable with confrontation, which most car salespeople are. Most people, unless you're like in that business, you're not. So you want to get it over with as quick as possible. Someone who's fighting for their money doesn't mind being uncomfortable with you for an hour or 2 hours or a couple days or weeks. So you have to now take away that power, put yourself in a different position where you're in control, and that's in your house. That's why you don't need me. You need if you use what I teach. If you do it your old way, then yeah, you need somebody, and you're still not going to get your best offer because your best offer comes from shopping multiple dealers. But once you start shopping multiple dealers, you'll see they'll be jumping through hoops, and you'll feel like, dang, I got the power now. That's the name of the game. Go ahead. I'm going to do another one from TikTok because I know Dolan, you're not pulling. We'll get back to IG. We got all questions coming from everywhere. I just don't want to leave TikTok out. Would you recommend buying a car outright, cash, no note? Yeah, we talked about that in the last hour. If you're not invested, if you're not investing your money and the bank's money, if the bank, look, It depends on if you're investing your money. If you're and you're making money on your money, those people don't usually put their cash in cars. They want to keep their money making money. But if you're not really investing, then you probably want to just pay cash, get the transaction out the way. And if you're investing your money and you can use the bank's money at a low interest, you have to always check if the car you're shopping for has a low interest rate on it, y'all. Some of these cars have 0%, 0.99%. This is like a finance rebate. It's like the bank saying, here, use our money for free, and we will let, like, you cannot compete. It's no point in going to your credit union. No one can beat it. 0.99%, 1.99. When you can use the bank's money that cheap, you can keep your money making money, and you can keep your money in your bank account. A lot of times in this economy, people want to have their money available. So it's all personal though. If you notice, unless we're talking about leasing or buying, I'm not really going to say something you did was wrong, because it's a case-by-case basis. I'm more about, let me show you the options based on different people, and you pick who you are and you do that. The only thing that I'll tell somebody in a lot of cases they're wrong, almost all, is the leasing versus buying scenario all day. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Bring it in from either Instagram, TikTok, somewhere. All right, Tina, I want to buy a car and pay it in full, but don't want them to take advantage of me because if it is, okay, that's kind of a similar question, Tina. We've been talking about that like the whole broadcast. So, like that's how to shop is kind of what we're talking about. So it's, let's go to the next one and just, stay on the broadcast. The continual theme is nobody on here who's using what they learn from me, what they're learning in this live, what I have on my videos, what's in my book. No one should be worried about being taken advantage of because you're not shopping the old way anymore. Alejandro, I have equity in my current lease. If I want to purchase the vehicle, could the dealer subtract that equity from the purchase price on the lease contract if I decide to buy it? No. How do you know you have equity? Your equity is based on someone offering to buy the vehicle from you. So if you listen, equity is based on offers, nothing else. Kelly's Blue Book telling you your car is worth 20 grand is not an offer. Kelly's Blue Book instant cash offer, where they actually have a local dealer or a couple local dealers who will make you an offer, cash, come pick up, hey, bring your car in, we'll give you a check. That's how you assess equity. We do this in step 2. Once we decide whether we're leasing versus buying, which is the foundation of our car deal, you can't get a great deal if you purchased, but you should have leased. Can't get a great deal. It's over. You're on the wrong foundation. You can't get a great deal if you leased and you should have purchased, because the long-term wins you would have gotten, you now lose. Once you move past that, your next step is equity assessment. Look at my current car. Now some of you, Deshone, I don't have a current car, then you skip it. But if you have a current car, a lease, or a car you own, or a car you're paying for, you're financing, equity assessment, which means I'm going to call my bank and I'm going to find out what my payoff is. Then I'm going to go to the actual online buyers and get offers. And then I'm going to see, are my offers, is my highest offer higher than my payoff? That's equity. But there's no other way. So if you were to purchase that vehicle, no one can take your equity, because this is what my car would have sold for, but I'm going to buy it for the price they say I could buy it for. So if that's $4,000 less, great. But also be aware, not everyone is willing to pay you that. That was just one buyer who beat everybody else. So that's why I'm not into buying leases, because I'm not into buying your car, because all you're doing when you're buying your lease is buying a used car. That's it. That's all you're doing. All right. Hold on. I'm 20,000 miles over on my lease. Should I get a new lease or purchase my current vehicle? All right. This is very important, y'all. Watch this. I'm about to save. Look, y'all know I get excited about saving you money. If you listen, you're going to be writing me and telling me for years about all the money that you save. This is a big warning. When it comes to purchasing leases that are over mileage, some of you, in an effort to avoid a $2,500 mileage penalty, that was your fault. Okay, I'm not going to beat you up, but you drove the mileage. You contracted for this mileage, you drove more. That could happen through negligence, or it could happen through a real lifestyle change. I used to work 10 minutes from home. Now I work 40 minutes from home. It happens. And it doesn't matter. We're going to pay for what we use. It's okay, especially if you got a great lease deal. I'll pay for what I use. But here's the math about this. Going over your lease mileage is never a reason to buy your vehicle. Here's why. From the day you lease a vehicle, they tell you your lease, you could buy it. The purchase value, the residual value at the end is, let's say, $18,000. Let's just say that. Most times throughout history, the car wasn't worth that. When you finished with that lease, the car wasn't worth that. Deshone, what do you mean the car wasn't worth that? A comparable used car, similar, same year, similar mileage, you could have found for less. That was throughout history. So we never purchase leases without finding out, is the purchase price that they're even offering me, if I had the right mileage, we ain't talking about going over yet. If I had the right mileage, was that a good price? Many times it was not. Now, when you go over the mileage by 20,000 miles, does the purchase price change? Do they give you a new purchase price because you went 20,000 miles over? Do they say, hey, you know what? It was 18, but because you put all those miles on it, it ain't worth 18 no more. You don't care. We'll give it to you for 15. They don't do that, which means you are actually overpaying, because you're paying the same price that they said you should. If your car had 36,000 miles, you could buy it for 18. Your car got 56,000 miles and you're about to go pay 18. That's why going over mileage is never a reason to buy your lease. It's even more reason not to. It makes the car even more not worth what that buyout price is. So the best thing for you to do is to assess the penalty,